Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Charles, and today you're watching Save Our Children TV. Back at it for a brand new video. Before we get started, today is my birthday, so comment down below a very happy birthday in the comment section down below. Now, our first day is in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to take an L. I'm on Local 12. A father had been arrested after fleeing the scene after his daughter, 16, was killed in a wreck that he caused. She flew out the windshield and died in a hospital. So, it's our first story, January 22nd. A man was arrested. Bixby, Oklahoma, Texas AM. A man was arrested after he allegedly fled a crash that left his 16-year-old daughter dead. According to KRJH, Elliot Benny was arrested after he allegedly passed multiple cars in a no passing zone in the rain and crashed while going approximately 70 miles per hour on January the 11th. So this happened on the 11th of this month. The Bixby Police Department told the outlet that officers responded to the scene of a rollover crash at around 9:20 p.m. and found 16-year-old Shelby Benny. Officers told KRJH that the teen had been ejected from the car and had not been wearing her seatbelt. Excuse me. Shelby Benny was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. A witness told KRJH that they allegedly encountered a man wandering near the crash SUV. A witness told KRJH that they allegedly encountered Give me just a second. Shelby Benny was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. A witness told KRJH that they allegedly encountered a man wandering near the crashed SUV and claimed that after they attempted to speak with him, he ran off. Authorities were able to track down Elliot Benny and he was arrested on January 12th, the next day. The driver fled the scene and was believed he switched vehicles. Chief Bush of Bixby Police Department told KRJH he fled to a family member's home and switched vehicles and left the area. We were able to track him electronically and ultimately make an arrest this morning. Per KRJH, authorities discovered a bottle of vodka next to the passenger door and after his arrest. Elliot Benning allegedly admitted to drinking while driving home. Elliot Benning suffered non-life-threatening injuries from the crash, but 3 other people were hospitalized, including 2 elementary school children per the outlet. Shelby Benning was a cheerleader and described as a hardworking athlete and the best teammate you ever asked for. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Benning family during this tragic time. Shelby has been part of the OXT and OXC family for many years. She was loved by everyone around her. A Facebook post by Oklahoma Extreme All-Star Chair read in part. So this was the victim, 16-year-old that was killed. Hold on. So remember time. This is the victim, 16-year-old, that was killed by the hands of her impaired, drunk father. Elliot Benny was charged with first degree manslaughter. I don't think it should be first degree murder. Um, at least vehicular, first degree vehicular homicide, because you chose to drive recklessly with children in your car and then hit two innocent elementary school children. This should have been reckless homicide by drinking and driving. Elliot Benny was charged with first degree manslaughter and passing a vehicle in a non passing zone. Per the outlet, which reported that the man bonded out of jail after posting a $102,000 bond. A GoFundMe fundraiser was launched to assist the family with funeral expenses. You know, please, please, if you're the type, I don't care if you're female or male, parents, step parents, babysitter, if you like to drink, you should not be driving. If you like to drive excessively, you should not be drinking. It should go both ways because you're putting people in danger and you're being selfish when you do it. And it's a crime. It's a felony. That's what it is. It is a felony. Now we have a bonus story out of Indiana. So Indiana gonna take an L. Neighbor is charged. These two individuals, the female and the male. Neighbor Neighbor is charged after body of 17-year-old missing Indiana girl is found buried on their property. On their property. If you have neighbors and your neighbors suspicious and they doing suspicious activity, it's your duty to report it to the police. It is your duty to see something and to say something. Because if you stand by it and you know what's happening, you're just as guilty as the perpetrators. And you should go to jail. So, see something, say something. Now we'll move on to story number two. The the Delphi murders. Now I haven't talked about this story because I was waiting for the update to this particular story. But let's talk about it. I'm on WTHR.com for my article. Judge in Delphi murder case to allow evidence found during search of Richard Allen's home. So, Delphi, Indiana is going to take an L. The judge in the Delphi murders case issued several orders Monday afternoon that would impact whether evidence jurors will be allowed to see. Especially Judge Francis Gull ruled that the evidence found inside defendant Richard Allen's home can be used in the case. Allen is accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German in February of 2017. Court documents say investigators found important evidence against Allen at the crime scene and an upspent bullet found between Abby and Libby's bodies. Investigators claim ballistic testing on that bullet matches a gun they found inside Allen's home when they conducted a search warrant. It is some of the most powerful evidence offered by the state to link Allen to the crime. But Allen's attorney said that the Carroll County so basically he was charged with another murder. just, I believe, a day or two ago. Girl denied the request, saying that the affidavit that the sheriff filed to search Allen's home and car was responsible, and she said the court reasonable. And she said the court does not find that the sheriff submitted false statements or that the sheriff omitted statements with reckless disregard, nor does the court find that the sheriff intended to mislead the judge by failing to present information. The Indiana Supreme Court issued a ruling last week that Allen's original attorneys will be reinstated to the case. Gore chose to dismiss attorneys Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie in October following a leak of Delphi crime scene photos from Baldwin's law office. With his original attorneys reinstated, it is not yet clear if Allen's trial will be moved to an earlier date. It had been moved from January to October of 2024 after his original attorneys were removed by the judge. So, condolences to the victims, and I hope to throw the book at this individual. Now, Brian Kohlberger. The last update I told you about this case happened maybe 2018, 2019, but recently they tore down that house that those murders took place in. If you have not seen that video, go to the news channel in Idaho. There's a live feed. You'll see a house being torn down. There's a lot of defense about it. People was upset. People was fine with it. Some of the families were okay with it. Some were not. It's trauma, and trauma is a real thing. Trauma is a real thing. In the early hours of November 13th, 2022, four University of Idaho students were fatally stabbed in an off-campus residence in Moscow, Idaho. On December 30th, 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohlberger was arrested in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, on multiple murder charges. He is standing trial in those cases. And I believe if he's convicted, he faces the death penalty. So I believe they're pursuing the death penalty if convicted. Which, rightfully so. If you did commit this crime, you change 4 lives forever. So. The next story takes us to Central California. Fresno, California is going to take an L. A 17-year-old boy is charged with killing 4 of his family members. A 17-year-old boy is charged with killing 4 members of his neighbor's family in Central California. A 17-year-old boy charged with killing 4 members of a neighboring family in Central California made his first appearance in court Thursday and entered the juvenile equivalent of a not guilty plea. The teenager, who was not identified in juvenile court only by the initials RI because of his age, was ordered to remain in custody. If convicted of 4 murder charges, he will be held in juvenile hall until he turns 25. Prosecutors have filed a motion asking that he will be tried as an adult with a possible sentence of life in prison without chance of parole. The teen lived next door to the victims in the small town of Greeley, southwest of Fresno. He is charged with killing 81-year-old Billy Bond. his son, 61-year-old Daryl Bond, granddaughter-in-law Guadalupe Bond, who was 44, and grandson Matthew Bond, who was 43. The bodies of Billy Bond, Daryl Bond, and Guadalupe Bond were found in the backyard of their home Saturday, including one that was buried in a shallow grave. Police said Matthew Bond's body was found in the detached garage of the teenager's home on Tuesday before he was arrested, authorities said. Police have released details of the killings, but have said a safe inside the victim's home that held guns and money had been forced open and emptied, suggesting a possible motive. The Fresno Bee reported several of the teen's relatives were in court for the hearing, including his mother. She and her boyfriend have been charged with being accessories after the fact to the killings and are free on bond. So the fact that a mother and her boyfriend participated in a crime with her 17-year-old son, and her 17-year-old son kills his neighbor, four of his neighbor's family members. That's gruesome. And the reason why I chose to talk about this story, not because the suspect is 17, although we talk about say about children, but also because the people he killed have children who, fortunately, is going to be scarred for the rest of their lives because of this situation. And it's no excuse for it. And we could say, yeah, he was 17. He might have had this. He might have had that. But there's no excuse to go around killing people. There's no excuse. It is flat out premeditated attempted murder. It is murder if they die. Premeditated. So think about that for a second. Now we're going to move on to a mother Here, garbage. Look at garbage. The bottle right here. Okay, Ohio's gonna take an L. Ohio, Ohio mom is charged with faking 7-year-old daughter's cancer to raise thousands in donations. An Ohio woman has been charged after she falsely claimed her 7-year-old daughter had cancer and raked in thousands of dollars in donations. Pamela Reed, 41, of Pleasant City, was arrested Monday, charged with theft by deception, a fourth-degree felony, the Noble County Sheriff's Office announced in a news release. The Sheriff's Office and the county's Department of Job and Family Services were notified on January the 4th about a local child who had been falsely publicity portrayed to be fighting cancer. The Sheriff's Department and the Child Services detective investigated the claims and confirmed that the child didn't have cancer. Several local organizations have participated in fundraising efforts and have made monetary contributions to help the family offset medical expenses. Police said the investigation found one local organization have donated $8,000 to the family to aid with her alleged cancer treatment expenses. On the Facebook page, the family appeared to post and share updates about the child's health, sharing photos of the child in the hospital, and posting about a long host fundraiser in October. 4 days after the sheriff's office was tipped off, it interviewed Reed, and she admitted during questioning that she had exaggerated and fabricated medical conditions to receive monetary donations from local organizations. Her bond has been set at $50,000. It wasn't immediately clear whether she has a lawyer. Sheriff Jason Mackey and Misty Wells, the director of the Family Services Department, signed a statement. Child abuse and neglect isn't always cut and dry, cookie cutter scenarios. If you, as a professional or as a member of our community, feel like something just isn't quite right, don't hesitate. Make the report. The grit and devotion of this team is inspiring. It isn't the first time parents have faked children's illnesses and used well intention donations to fund their own lifestyles. Perhaps the highest profile case is that of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She was released from jail last month after serving time on a second degree murder charge in connection with the slaying in June 2015 of her mother, Claudine Dee Blanchard, who abused Gypsy Rose and forced her to fake serious illnesses. Gypsy Rose Blanchard testified that her mother took her to doctors all her life for various conditions including leukemia and muscular dystrophy, and forced her to use a wheelchair and an oxygen tank that she didn't actually need. In 2021, also in Ohio, a woman named Lindsay Abreu was accused of faking her daughter's internal illness and raising thousands to fund trips and other expenses. An investigation found that there was no evidence to support that her child was terminally ill. I was trying to find that story, but I couldn't find it. But this is the second mother. The first one is the adopted mother who adopted a month old child, I believe, or was it a 1 year old child, and faked her illness. This reminds me of the case of the Alabama girl who faked her kidnapping and said there was a child on the highway. My thing is this: it is a felony to fake an illness on your children. It is a felony. It's theft by receiving money, abuse, because you're putting your children, for crying out loud, in dangerous situations. So you gotta be smart. Don't put your children in dangerous situations that you can't get out of. It is a felony. Second mother who did this, and you're only hurting your child. You're hurting your child for money. And I think it's sad. I do. Gotta be better than that. And it's sick that you would play with a deadly illness for money. It tells me that you have no self worth. So our next story is gonna be 6 kids arrested for murder. I'm trying to see. So 6 kids was arrested for murder.
move it. And that's when you just hear the loud bang and a little bit of a light. And then she drops. And next thing you know, she just starts to bleed.
Okay.
I really didn't want things to happen like this. This sucks. I'm so sorry.
Did you say anything else to her? Did she say anything to you or no?
No, she just screamed.
She just screamed. It's not just adult offenders that police deal with on a daily basis. Juveniles, they also pop up on law enforcement's radars. We're breaking down 6 times children were the ones in handcuffs. Welcome to After Hours, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Sam Goldberg. We begin in Miami, Florida, where 13-year-old Derek Rosa is being detained in an adult facility for allegedly stabbing his mother more than 40 times. According to police, Rosa himself called 911.
So I remember this case. So they're talking about 6 different times, 6 different people who were arrested and charged with murders and different crimes. My thing is this, and this is my opinion, it's the lack of parenting in these homes. 1. 2, when you give your children everything they ask for, do you think they're going to listen to you? Do you think they're going to follow your directions, follow your rules at home? No, they're going to take advantage of you. They're going to get the upper hand. They're going to kill you. They're going to do every last thing to get to you. And you can't let that happen. You can't be, can't let it happen in your own home. So, it's crazy. Texas man. This story will not have news video because it is very graphic. I'm on WIO News. Texas is going to take an L. And not only Texas taking an L, but the mothers or the mother who allowed to give her toddlers to these individuals. FBI has arrested Texas man Arthur Hector Fernandez III, a former employee of the Houston Galleria, for filming himself along with 6 others while the gang RAPE 2 toddlers in a restroom of a popular shopping mall. This came after an investigation by the Australian Center to Counter Child Exploitation, which discovered videos on the dark web. Subsequently, the center provided the evidence to the FBI. According to authorities, the heinous acts occurred with the public restrooms of the Houston Galleria, a well-known shopping destination in the U.S. state of Texas. Fernandez has been charged with the sexual exploitation of children. The victims, ages 2 and 3, were identified in the disturbing videos. One of the videos depicts a male toddler on a changing table in a public restroom being assaulted while Fernandez allegedly recorded the act. In 3 other videos, the second toddler is shown on a changing table with multiple men, including Fernandez. Fernandez was part of the act, which was caught on at least 2 of these recordings. The FBI thought a meticulous investigation identified Fernandez by analyzing videos and the clothing worn by the victims. Additionally, Fernandez's silver bracelets, noticed by relatives of the toddlers, played a crucial role in linking him to the crimes. Relatives of the first toddler revealed that Fernandez offered to babysit during an expected work situation. This was the only time the child was alone with Fernandez. Media reports said, citing court documents. Records indicate that the incident involving the first toddler occurred on May 6 in a Galleria bathroom. During a search at Fernandez's listed address, FBI Houston discovered 3 pairs of white low-top Converse All-Star shoes seen in one of the videos, electronic devices, Particularly those capable of storing explicit material were also found, as per reports. Children at Risk president and CEO Dr. Bob Sanborn reportedly said kids, after they'd been out with someone who thought you trusted them, they would assert of withdrawal, they would be more quiet. Look for those changes in their children, bedridden, not eating. In light of this disturbing incident involving toddlers, Sanborn stressed the importance of creating safe environments for children. My thing is this, like I said before, and AFC talked about this story too on this channel. I don't care if I knew, as a mother, I knew these individuals. Clearly, these individuals are dangerous to not just society, but to children. So why would you allow just anybody to watch your children? You don't know what this person is about. And then your children ended up on a dark web in a explicit video. And this will scar your children for the rest of their lives when they get older. And talk about what happened to them as toddlers. This is going to scar them. None of their videos are on a scary platform in a sexual manner. And so, my thing is, where was more security at? Where was anybody who was at the mall that day? Did they say anything? Where was everybody when this was taking place? Did nobody report this? Nobody saw this happen in the bathroom? Come on now. It's hard to believe. But in today's society, we're too quiet. We're too mute. We got to report things like this when we see it happen. Because it should not be happening. And it happens. So, what wishes to the victims? Atlanta's going to take an L. Father starved his kidnapped daughter to death. So Atlanta's going to take an L. Atlanta police launched an investigation into handling of a 4-year-old who starved to death. Atlanta police are investigating why, despite 3 requests from child welfare authorities, no officer ever checked on a family living in squalor. 2 weeks before Christmas, one of the children died of starvation, described by a detective on Thursday as just poor born at the time of her death. Her father, Bonnie McWay, faces multiple felony charges on the death of his daughter and alleged abuse of her siblings. The Fox 5 I-team has been asking questions about the case, and this week obtained the State Division of Family and Children Services file as well as 911 call logs and recordings from Atlanta police. It appears to me that a bunch of different systems are failed, said Tom Rawlings, an attorney from juvenile court judge and director of DFCS from 2018 to 2021. This is one of the more troubling situations I've reviewed. The recordings reveal that for months leading up to 4-year-old Treasure McWay's death, DFCS workers sought assistance from police and finding the children, but got little help. Ronnie McWay, 31, did not have legal custody of his 3 children. DFCS said he's accused of traveling to Maryland in July and kidnapping them from their mother. Returning them to the same duplex DFCS have removed them from. Less than 2 weeks earlier, Arrest affidavits describe Treasure and her brothers, ages 3 and 5, living in a house of horrors inside the lower level unit on Renfrew Court. The children allegedly watched their father beat their mother and 8-year-old half sister before the mother left the home with her older children. The affidavit said McCrary kept the 3 younger children separated and locked in the rooms with surveillance cameras aimed at their beds and no access to food, water, or bathrooms. The only food inside some expired eggs and expired milk. Officers were dispatched to their home, but it does not appear officers had contacted with Mr. McWay or the children during these calls. Atlanta police told the ITV in an email statement an effort to ensure these calls were handled properly. The Atlanta Police Department Office of Professional Standards initiated an investigation into these calls. Ron McWay lived in the lower level of this duplex on Renfrew Court in Atlanta. According to the charges against him, he was a house of horrors for his 3 small children, Fox 5. In Fayette County Magistrate Court on Thursday, detectives said that in one case, Atlanta police didn't respond to a call from DFCS at all. According to Summer Benton of the Homicide Division, it happened 11 days after the alleged kidnapping. What happened after someone calls for a wellness check? Defense Attorney Samantha X. An officer will go out to check on the children, the detective said. Then an officer will go out. Now, after the hearing, Thursday, Judge Ashley Drake added a malice murder charge against McCray, who already faces 14 other felonies, including kidnapping and child cruelty. The judge also ordered him to be held without bond. Now, the mother of these biological children chose to lay down with a thug, have children by the thug, and the thug kills not just his children, but your children too. We gotta be smart when we make sexual decisions, because we're bringing innocent children in the world by no good individuals, and they're killing their children just for the hell of it. So you had to know this man was violent. This man had a criminal history. This man was no good. This man should have been in jail a long time ago. But the system failed this family. The mother failed her children. The system failed her children. Father failed his children. So everybody have a part to play. They failed these children. And in my opinion, DCFS or DFCS needs to face charges too for not coming out and reporting this to the police. Just saying. Because how do you miss this type of abuse? How you not respond to it? So something don't add up. How much you think about it down below? Condolences to Treasure. Now, final story is a father who was just indicted for the murder of his daughter Angel. So let's talk about it. And it's a final story, our 9th and final story. Father indicted for the murder of his daughter Angel.
Charles was waiting on you because he wanted to see Kate Burton if he could cut the cake. And he was waiting on you to get bathroom.
Father indicted for an Angel Overstreet case. So Huntington, West Virginia is going to take an L. The father of an infant who disappeared more than 2.5 years ago has been indicted on charges related to her death. According to the Huntington Police Department, Shannon Patrick Overstreet faces the charges of death of a child by a parent, guardian, or custodian, or other persons by child abuse, murder, and concealment of a deceased human body. The charges stem from the disappearance of his daughter Angel Overstreet in May of 2021, which led to a multi-agency investigation involving agencies from both West Virginia and Kentucky, as well as the FBI. The HPD says investigators collected evidence indicating Overstreet is allegedly responsible for her death and for concealing her body. Andrea Nicole Overstreet, who was last seen in early May of 2021, she was just 3 months old at the time. Authorities first reported that she was missing on May 25th and said her whereabouts since May 8th could not be confirmed. She was 3 months old at the time. According to HPD at the time, West Virginia Child Protective Services representatives had contacted authorities saying that they were following up with Angel's father, Shannon Overstreet, on a custody issue from Kentucky. The CPS worker said he told them he turned Angel over to CPS 2 weeks earlier, but investigators were unable to substant a custody exchange. The following day, May 26, HPD officials said there were concerns for Angel's safety. However, an Amber Alert was never issued due to the amount of time she had already been missing. Red flag. The search for Angel soon spanned into Kentucky, and authorities even drained and searched a pond on her father's property in Carter County, Kentucky, for evidence for disappearance or even Angel herself. According to the indictment against Overstreet, he's accused of causing her death in West Virginia and then taking her body to Kentucky. Police have not stated if Angel's remains have ever been found. Late Friday night, Kentucky State Police sent a press release. Through a thorough and extensive investigation, sufficient evidence was gathered to enable the Huntington Police Department to secure an indictment for the arrest of Shannon Overstreet. The statement was in relation to a search in June of 2021 at a location in Olive Hill. Though no specific location was given. The Huntington Police Department, the FBI, the West Virginia Intelligence Center, and the U.S. Marshal Service, the Kentucky State Police, the West Virginia State Police, and Child Protective Services, agencies from West Virginia and Kentucky, were all involved in investigating Angel's disappearance. Overstreet is currently serving a sentence of unrelated charges of maliciously assaulting his mother and father. He was sentenced in January 2023 on the 2022 indictment. In that court case, he's accused of allegedly grabbing the victim by her hair, dragging her through the yard and up steps, and then allegedly hitting her several times in March of 2021 prior to Angel's disappearance. The complaint stated when the victims went to the medical facility a couple days after the incident, medical professionals found she had a significant brain bleed. This is a developing story in WOWK 13. News will update this article as more information becomes available. And red flag to the mother because you knew this man was violent. And yet you still lay down and made a baby with this person. I don't understand how reckless you have to be. Is that a person you want around the children? You can tell this man is violent. Shannon Overstreet. And yet this mother had no problem sleeping with him. So shame on the mother. Like, comment, subscribe, condolences to baby Angel, and may all these children get justice. And we got a bit of voice for the children. Peace.